Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Attacker Productions. Today I'm back off being joined once again by Jake, Tanner, and like always, Fluff.
What's going on, y'all?
What's up? What's going on, people?
And like always, there's buttons down below. Feel free to click them. They're there for a reason. Today's matchup, kind of a blast from the past versus Soul Striker, which is also a blast from the past. Tanner's bringing back Gotenks, while Jake pilots Soul Striker. Guys, take it away.
So, I spent like the week before this event playing Blue Baby, and then on Friday, Planet Tuffle gets errated. So I decided to just pretty much take my Blue Baby list and jam it into the Soul Striker leader, and kind of see, add a few things, remove some of the extraneous negates, and just kind of see how far I could take some of those cards that I enjoyed playing in the Blue Baby deck.
I mean, with a leader that resands energy once awakened every turn, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I'm honestly amazed at how much blue has going for it at times. It does have one of the best counterplays in the game. It's got Bean. It's got a lot of different packages you can put into a lot of different things. You got the Bojack packages. You have the Heroic Prospect. I think blue's only weakness, once I watch anybody play it or kind of play against it, is that it just takes forever for it to get done. And it's just really interesting to see. And I've enjoyed playing against your deck, Jake, because there was a lot of different things that I hadn't seen before without having exposure to it, like that Bojack, or I don't know, that's not Bojack, but whatever that card was, one of the Bojack Brigades, and just seeing some things that I wasn't used to.
Yeah, one of our friends, Trevor, actually suggested this card to me. It's Beto the Cruel. When it comes in, it draws one, and then you can pay one on the activate battle to give it plus 11k and double strike. So it's kind of like a weird Saiyan Kaba.
Yeah, I needed to actually ask you about this. So I did not get into the Unison that I prefer to get into with Gotenks. And this Frieza has always been my secondary Unison, and I've kind of debated back and forth on it. Did you think it actually provided anything threatening for you, or was it just sort of like a small nuisance with the critical?
Well, I played with this Frieza Unison a lot when I was main decking Ginyu for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of felt like I understood the Unison in and out and wasn't really worried too much about either of its effects before I awakened. After I awakened, it could provide me a little bit more trouble, because at that point I want to start going into my 4-drops, and then you can like charismatic and stuff like that. But in the early stages of the game, I didn't really care about it too deeply.
Jake, I have a huge question.
Yeah.
2 God-Sealing Trunks?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Golden Avenger?
Well, think about it.
Yeah.
The main engine of his deck, the 6-drop Gotenks dual attacker,
they have deflect,
is
don't they?
deflect.
I forgot about that.
Now,
Yeah.
Stop telling people that. No, I don't want them to. I don't want them to know that. Nope.
So these counterplays don't really get much mileage. Like, what am I gonna God Sealing a Gokul just so he could cast it again? Like,
Yeah, make him burn those energy.
true.
Yeah.
I guess I
Almost
could like God Sealing a charismatic villain or something like that. That would be pretty sweet.
You could
But
not sell a baby hatch.
true. I don't know how that works out
Yeah,
in your favor.
It's
but
an interesting technique to do that. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah, that's sorry. That Unison, by the way, I basically skipped Supreme Rivalry altogether. I had a lot of stuff just going on in life, moving and such. And every time somebody plays that Unison, I'm like, I gotta read it. And then I'm like, oh wow, that's a lot. The Boo one that's sitting over in the corner there.
yeah, the
That
drop
thing
area.
just puts in so much work. Pretty sure you're getting ready to. You will board it at some point during this match, and it just. You said it best when we were talking about it. It just sort of lingers over you as a player. You have to like understand that it's there and what it can do. All right, turn 3. I actually got to board a Gotenks. Decided to blow up the counter or the Gohan because I guess that was just what seemed nice. I think I recalled you saying the resources you had to spend to go into the double strike for the other guy, I thought would be favorable. And this is such a green player thing to say, but only getting 2 off of that draw just feels bad. I like to get 3 because I activate a union skill, so it is what it is.
Yeah.
And then boarding some ghost tokens in hopes that maybe I can apply some pressure with them later on, and just sort of poke at you.
I mean, you are at 6 life.
Yeah. Oh, there he is.
So this Unison is one of my favorite Unisons for blue right now. But I didn't put it in my current deck that I've been playing this past weekend. But overall, like, it's just a phenomenal Unison that can bottom deck a card. It's a blocker. It's double strike. It resands itself and an energy.
Yeah, it's completely huge. And unfortunately, it's not a 3-cost Unison, so it's not going to awaken me here. But it just provides so much defense on its own. I'm kind of unafraid to go into this next turn unawakened. I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah,
I will get to restand an energy.
The new Tapion does put in a lot of work with it being a 3-cost, and I didn't realize the Tapion was like 19k or whatever. But now that you say that, and I've played against 2 different versions of Soul Striker, I played a little bit today. I think that the Boo is a much more favorable Unison. I think it scares me a lot more than the Tapion Unison does.
Honestly, I think I want to put the Tapion stuff back in the list and just play both.
Ooh, what is your backup Unison right now?
Nothing. I just play 4 of the Boo.
Really?
Fair
Okay.
enough.
Yeah, and 3 copies of God Sealing, which is why I'm quick to charge them, because it's not always guaranteed they'll be live in a game anyway.
Yeah, just go ahead and get my pieces off for 2 energy. Totally fair. We're shimmying when we need them.
Oh, sorry. Green's bad.
Thank you, bud.
But no, Gotenks was a deck that I played for the longest time and absolutely loved it. And it's something I never actually played the ghost tokens with it, but I understand why you did it. Like, you had no other choice in that situation. And now it gives you a little extra wide pressure now. But, I mean, Jake now technically has 2 blockers on board, though.
Yeah, the ghost token's a very, niche situation. Often with green, as you well know, because you played a lot of Gotenks, you don't need open energy. So if you've got an open energy, it's just resources on the table you're not getting value out of. So I might as well just put the ghost tokens on there. I've got a Rebrian or a Zarbon to drop in most cases. So getting the extra pressure, especially with blue, which likes to sit for the first couple turns and really not do much. And unfortunately, now that I'm looking at this retroactively, leaving this 2 energy open, I didn't realize how much of a telegraph that is, with what's going to happen later on. But man, that is so good.
We'll talk about it later, but there are other cards in green. There's plenty of cards in green that you would leave 2 up for.
I mean, you have 1 charged right now.
This is true, yeah.
Now, when we get to that point, I have a question for you, and we'll go over it when we get to that point. But Jake, out of curiosity, I know he would have gotten the pieces back, but bottom decking the 6-drop Gotenks, he would have had to burn extra energy just to dig that back. Were you just curious maybe he had another one in his hand?
Yeah, I thought he was going to fuse again, which is why I hadn't used the minus yet.
Yeah, I don't think it was a shocking death ball.
Shocking death ball? It was a double strike. That makes sense. Trying to be safe there.
Oh, that's right.
Such a strong card.
So good.
Good old battling the forces of evil. I feel like people were really hype on this card before it came out, and then when it came out, people were like, this card sucks, but I'm just now getting around to trying it out, and I really like the situations it puts your opponent in.
So the reason why the card quote unquote sucked was that there wasn't really a good way of playing it and then passing your turn. But now with Soul Striker, with this Unison, you're passing your turn with at least three energy.
Yeah, plenty to defend yourself with.
So
yeah,
this is the question I wanted to ask. Knowing that this was your kind of go-to play, which, truth be told, I agree. Like, you play Gotenks and you think, turn 5, Zeno, but not with this new secret rare out, you can still a Unison, which is great. Did you choose not to do the -2 because you wanted him to swing at you?
Which -2?
On the Frieza. Because the -2, if your opponent swings, I can't remember if it's with a battle card or just in general, they have to, is it bottom deck or send a card from their...
I wanted to draw. So I'm not going to make excuses for this match. Spoilers, I guess. This was arguably one of the worst pacings or draws I've gotten for Gotenks in a long time. And everything was just a pace, which shows it how consistent that deck is, that when it isn't running on all cylinders, it can be weird. And to be honest, I was playing like off rhythm. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, I guess I want the crit pressure. It may have been a better play to do the -2. Well, on that same token, I wanted that Unison, and I wanted him to swing so I could get that Unison, because I know Blue's presence with the Unison is just, there's a lot it can do. Now, to be honest, what I learned a lot from this game, and it's really inconsequential for this particular game, but I learned it today playing against Soul Striker, is there's not a lot of reward for stealing a Unison. It almost counteracts what Gotenks wants to do, because Charismatic is a free play because of a green Unison. Dormant is a free play because of a green Unison. A lot of things require a green Unison in the deck, so getting this blue Unison doesn't really do a whole lot for me besides put the opponent in an offbeat situation.
Oh, you still get the draw, but does it not? Does any of it require a blue leader?
I think some of it might.
Okay.
You have to restand a mono blue energy.
Gotcha.
So he's not going to get the restand at the start of my turn.
But yeah, and I really wasn't sure how the +0 ability worked either.
But I see what you're saying, yeah, because you did turn, because you also turned Dormant Potential off, which, I mean, you can still pay for having 5 energy.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is kind of rough.
We talked about that a little bit after the game. He was talking about a potential play line where he could have had Charismatic, and I was like, yeah, but you have a blue Unison. He was like, oh.
Yeah, I just didn't even think about it. Didn't really occur to me. Which is fine. There wasn't a whole lot of Charismatic play here. I mean, you're going to see, I just completely forgot that a card existed, and I will not make that mistake again. So this was a great learning experience. But
I mean, if you had nothing else to do, I mean, it gives you a Unison in this situation that you could have swung Double Strike with, done the +0 to draw a card, and then paid your energy to play yourself another green Unison back to the board, and he just lost his Unison.
Yeah, it wasn't the wrong play. It just could become the wrong play in the wrong situation.
Yeah.
I think it was absolutely the right play at the time. And this is sort of fumbling through a lot of it. Not sure. You're at 4 life in a pretty defensive place. I go ahead and board another Gotenks, just so I can get the draw, cycle through a little bit. Go top 7. Find the Unison that I prefer to go into, that I really think is the linchpin of the deck.
Yeah,
and that's the other.
You're
that's
missing
the
on
other
extra
reason.
draws too right now.
Yeah, well, that's the other reason too, is that a lot of times when you want to steal the Unison, you're already at 6 or 7 markers on Vegito, and it's like, okay, do I sacrifice a crit 1 life and discard 3 cards from hand, or do I, what's really worth it at that point in time? But on that same token, I don't think Cell X is the better option, because it's not bad, but it's not great. That was a really clutch play, by the way, too. Heroine's Lineage, I think it's easily in the top 3 best secret rares in the game. There's no, it's just so good.
It's won me quite a few games, and the fact that people just expect you to play Baby Hatch in blue means you can kind of catch people off guard with it.
Yeah. And at this point, I have 2 Dormants in hand, a Boo in hand. So I know he can counter. Not really that worried about it. I know I'm at 3 life, but I've got resources in hand to deal with some stuff. I'm thinking I'm safe. No real issues. So I'm like, you know what? Instead of just discarding or bottom decking a card and getting into some weird resource situations, I also have this Unison that's a blocker. I've got a lot of ways to survive this turn if I need to. Shouldn't be any issue whatsoever. Jake counts his cards, and then he goes, "Oh, remember set 3?"
So nasty.
Yeah. So at that point in time, the game's done. There's nothing I can do. I spent too many resources earlier trying to push for game. So I can't combo out of all these swings. He's got my Gotenks, which is going to go in for 2. There's a double strike on Fu. I went ahead and just double checked on the Overrealm in the drop just because it wasn't. Yeah, just in case. You never know. Because it does have such a high Overrealm cost.
Yeah, that's why 10 is pretty huge.
Yeah, that's why I don't think the card's like broken by any means or anything like that. It takes 10 in the drop area. You have to be at 6 energy. It's if you don't plan for it, as I didn't, that's on you as a player. You should know that card's in the format, and you should understand that it exists. So it is what it is.
It's really become one of my favorite ways to end games in this post errata format after the emergency ban list. Because games are much slower now, players are like naturally becoming more defensive and holding more cards back. And Fu kind of punishes them for doing that. It kind of punishes you for not deploying and trying to kill your opponent earlier on, even though you could potentially extend forever with like Dormant, Topo Boo, and things like that.
Oh, and I forgot I had the Boo Boo Volleyball in hand too.
You had 4 in the gate. That hurts.
Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, it was a great learning experience. That's why we're doing this. Gen Con is 2 or 3 weeks away. I think Green can very much compete in there, and I think Green actually has a pretty good matchup against Blue. But it was a great learning experience to know that, hey, you better have a contingency plan if you let Blue go to turn 6. Because that's a card. You know what I mean? So
with that being said, thank you all for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed today's matchup. Keep in mind, while Fluff does the outro, there's buttons on the screen and down below.
Hey, thanks for watching. Check out these 4 videos. Hopefully it's something that you're interested in. I gotta say, Fu as a game ender is just, it's massive. And if you're not prepared for it, and really, realistically thinking, there's only like 2 cards in the game that answer Fu on play, and one of them isn't seeing competitive play. So be sure to think about that. If you're playing a deck that goes late, can you survive a Fu Shrouded Mystery? If that answer is no, then you might want to consider some sideboard options. Yeah, anyways, subscribe for answers to that later, probably after Gen, right?
I was going to say it's on our OnlyFans. But...
that's you know what? It is in the OnlyFans. Jimmy's standing in front of a mirror, bent over a commode. He's got the answers hidden you know where. Read your cards, know your plays. Let us make the mistakes so that you don't have to. And as always, fluff out.